Dr. Ben Carson tells EWTN Pro-Life Weekly that we all have a moral responsibility to protect the unborn. In part 2 of our interview, the former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development opens up to us about how it was his time spent as a pediatric neurosurgeon that helped to shape his pro-life views, especially when he would operate on babies who were still in the womb. Here is part 2 of our interview with Dr. Ben Carson. I want to turn now to your career as a pediatric neurosurgeon. You truly are an expert on the unborn child. Can you just speak to the reality of the unborn child based on what you saw in the operating room, and did that shape your pro-life beliefs?
Well, you know, there was a time when I was pro-choice, and I said, you know, I don't believe in killing little babies, but you know, what right do I have to tell somebody else what they should do? So, you know, I was pro-choice. And then it struck me one day as I was reading about slavery. And I said, what if the abolitionists had said, well, you know, I don't believe in slavery, but you guys can do what you want to do. You know, what would be going on in our country even today? So I think there is a responsibility, a moral responsibility that we have when we know things are being done incorrectly, when we know that little tiny innocent babies are being slaughtered. And it's not, you don't have to wait very long beyond conception to see that that's a little baby. You know, at 6 or 8 weeks, you can see that little nose and those little lips and ears and little fingers and toes and the heart's beating. You know, I was at a banquet, and a woman came up to my wife and she said, "Are you Dr. Carson's wife?" And she said, "Yes." And she said, "Your husband operated on me when I was still in my mother's womb. And now today she's a grown woman, fully capable of supporting herself, beautiful young lady. And for that reason, you'll never convince me that what's in a mother's womb is a meaningless bunch of cells."
To that point, I think something that is so scandalous, Dr. Carson, is that there are some hospitals that will perform surgery on an unborn child like you used to do, but then in a separate hospital wing, perform abortions on different unborn children. Your thoughts on that, how some unborn babies' lives are truly fought for while others are snuffed out?
Well, I think that's a real responsibility that we have to help people to recognize that these are individuals, these are human beings, they need our help. You know, I was at a conference in South Africa, and the head of the ACLU was bragging about how they are the ones who speak for those who can't speak for themselves. So I said, a woman came to me, she was 33 weeks pregnant, and she was on her way to Kansas to get an abortion because that was the only place in the country that would still do it that late. And I talked her out of it, and she had the baby. Had a neurological deficit. I had to operate on the baby, but the baby's fine. She loves the baby. She's so glad she didn't kill that baby. But I asked him, would you speak for that baby? That's a baby that couldn't speak for itself. A baby 33 weeks, viable outside the womb. He hemmed and hawed and skirted the issue. Later on that night at dinner, I said, let me make it easy for you. I said, I operate on little kids that are 25, 26, 27 weeks gestation. They're in an incubator. They're getting maximum support. Would you speak for them? He said, absolutely. I said, but the one that's several weeks further advanced and is in the safest place in the universe it can be, you can't speak for that one. And he says, I realize that doesn't make any sense, but I believe the woman has the right to kill the baby until the second it is born. And I said, will you say that out loud? And he said, no. But now they will say it out loud. Now they even talk about killing babies that have been born. You know, we're going to look back on this time sometime in the future and say those people were barbarians.
Dr. Carson, earlier this year, Planned Parenthood renounced their founder, Margaret Sanger, because of her eugenic and racist roots. You've been vocal about Margaret Sanger's dangerous beliefs before. What do you make of Planned Parenthood's move, and do you think it's possible that our nation's largest abortion business can truly remove itself from their founder's vision?
Well, you know, I think we should pray for everybody. We should work for everybody and hope the best for everybody. We shouldn't give up on anybody. And if Planned Parenthood can understand that, I think there is real hope for the rest of us. I think we can make progress on this issue. It's very important not to get into our respective corners and to demonize people, because people do things based on their belief system. Just like I said years ago, I was pro-choice too. But as life goes on, as you learn more, as you have different experiences, as the spirit moves you, you sometimes change. You become a different person. I think there's hope for everybody, and I'm very encouraged to see that move by Planned Parenthood.
Dr. Ben Carson, founder and chairman of the American Cornerstone Institute, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. I enjoy always being with you, and be courageous.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you so much.